Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. Happy Saturday, everybody. Hope your day and your weekend are off to a fantastic start. Got a new day, which of course means a new MLB Player Prop video to share with you guys. But first, as always, people, please make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. It helps the channel grow, and it really does mean a ton to us. With a new day comes some new opportunities to go ahead and make some money. I have 5 MLB player props to go ahead and share with you guys in today's MLB slate. By the way, guys, as you can tell, we are doing a video here on a Saturday. I told you guys, once the NBA season got closer towards its finale, I would start doing 6 days a week for MLB instead of the normal 5 days that we have been doing so far this year. And now with, we're in the conference finals. The NBA finals start next week. We're only going to have, a game every other day or whatnot. I'm going to start doing, Saturday videos for the rest of the MLB season. So we are now officially in our full swing MLB 6 days a week. So you'll expect videos from me Monday through Saturday, always in the morning before 10 a.m., but varying times. But all right, guys, before we dive into today's picks, we do have to do a quick little recap of how we did last night. And as you guys can tell by the thumbnail, we did go ahead and cash last night. Now, we did have a 5-leg parlay for like plus 684 odds. 2 of those 5 legs and the 2 that were the lower odd ones did get voided. Javi Baez did not play. And although DJ LeMahieu did come in as a pinch hitter in the 8th inning, doesn't count. He has to play. He has to start. And on DraftKings, at least, in order for the bet to count. So those 2 legs get voided. We did hit the other 3 legs, though. Wyatt Langford, Lawrence Butler, and Ketel Marte all came through for us there. Now, unfortunately, it goes from plus 684 to plus 212 when you take the Javi Baez and DJ LeMahieu props out of the equation. But we're not going to get greedy here. A cash is a cash. Plus 212 odds, really good numbers here. We are now officially in all forms, parlay and single bet, we are profitable. If you combine all the numbers this year, we are now 3-7 in the year with our parlays. We're still down a little bit in the units, partially because 2 of the Freaky Friday parlays we've hit so far this year in MLB, that's what's happened, right? We've lost a couple legs due to players being scratched from the lineup. Always a big risk when it comes to MLB. You just don't know at times, especially when I do record early in the morning, who's going to play, who's not going to play. But like I said, we're not going to get greedy. We got a nice cash in our hands here, plus 212, good value, good unit gain in last night's video. Some positive momentum ending the month of May. And although it was a modified hit, it was still a hit. So we do have our Freaky Friday 5-leg parlay giveaway. Shout out to Corey and 3R. Freaky louder than everyone else. It worked. You see, it caught my attention. You are the winner of our Freaky Friday gift card giveaway. Please go ahead and reach me out on Instagram at TASOSPicks, and we will go ahead and get you your free $25 Amazon gift card. Shout out to Corey and 3R. And again, we do this contest every single Friday. So if you didn't win this time, don't worry. There'll be plenty more opportunities to go ahead and win throughout the rest of the MLB season. All right, guys, this intro has gone on long enough. Let's dive right into today's picks. All right, guys, jumping into the outlier screen and getting things started. Our first player prop in today's slate comes from the Reds-Cubs game, 2:20 p.m. first pitch. We get Seiya Suzuki. I hope I said that right. You guys know I'm terrible with name pronunciation. Seiya Suzuki of the Chicago Cubs over 1.5 total bases. Now, this is one of multiple plus money plays I'm handing out in today's video. Obviously, down below in the pinned comment will be the link for the plays. I'm not going to put a full unit or even 3/4 of unit on these plus money plays. Might go a little more conservative here. But make sure to check out that pinned comment down below to see what the final unit play is for this player prop. So it is a solid value play here. Plus 125 on DraftKings is what we're grabbing it for. It looks like there's a couple sports books. Plus 160 if you guys use Profit X. Hard Rock Bet plus 125. Available in a lot of different sports books. But the key thing is they're all plus money. And honestly, for a plus money play, the data is pretty solid. Over 1.5 total bases. He's cashed the over in 7 of his last 10 games, averaging 3.2 total bases per game over his last 10 games. If you do go ahead and stretch the data out the entire season view, you do see a 51% hit rate on the over, 27 out of 53 games. He's cashed the over, averaging 2.28 total bases per game this year. So the recent data looks a little stronger. The overall data is still pretty solid for the most part. We also have a lot of head-to-head data to go off of for this player prop, and the head-to-head data is pretty strong. 11 of his last 15 matchups with the Cincinnati Reds, he's cashed the over at a 73% hit rate, averaging 3.13 total bases per game over the last 15 matchups with the Cincinnati Reds. And obviously they played already 4 times this year. He's 4-0 so far this season with some really big games here. May 23rd, just a little over a week ago, he had 7 total bases. May 25th, although less than a week ago, he had 7 total bases again. So really good numbers here versus the Reds this year. He's got at least 2 in all 4 games. But again, even if you go back to last season, really, really solid numbers against this Reds team. We also have the insights provided by Outlier. Seiya Suzuki has exceeded 1.5 bases in 6 of his last 7 games, averaging 3.3 total bases per game over the last 7. That is, of course, an 86% hit rate. So really good numbers. The only game over the last 7 that he's missed was back May 27th, a couple days ago against the Rockies. He did have a hit, though. He had 1 base, but did not get the 2 total bases in that one. Now, looking down below, and the reason why I think this is a plus money play, it is the matchup with Nick Lodolo. Now, a lot of the data actually here is still pretty strong. The one negative, and we'll start with the negative here, is that Nick Lodolo is pitching very well against right-handed batters like Seiya Suzuki. Now, overall, he's having a decent year, 3.39 ERA, 2.37 batting average allowed. Versus right-handed batters, though, massive decreases there. ERA goes down to 2.50, batting average allowed 2.09, and a very solid sample size there as well with 218 batters faced, right-handed batters. So really good numbers there. For him, not so good for us. However, his extra base hit percentage does increase to 38.1, which obviously is very good when we're talking about a player prop that needs multiple bases in order to hit. But that's the only negative part of this player prop that I can find. The rest of the data is solid. Suzuki, who's having a solid year versus left-handed pitchers, is phenomenal. 353 batting average. BABIP, solid. ISO, solid. The extra base hit percentage, a very small decrease. But across the board, really good numbers. Now, obviously, a much smaller sample size versus left-handed pitchers than in comparison to right-handed pitchers. But for Suzuki, he's having a great year overall, and versus lefties, so far, with what we have seen, he has been killing them all year long. And versus Lodolo, he's got a pretty good history. I mean, 18 plate appearances since 2018, 455 batting average, 667 OBP, not BABIP, OBP, and a 727 slugging. He's got 3 extra base hits, 8 total bases, so pretty good numbers against Nick Lodolo as well. So that right there, that head-to-head matchup doesn't scare me so much when it comes to this. Like when I see that, this doesn't scare me as much. All the data points to this being a really solid player prop, and for plus 125, you're getting immense value on this one. And we're just going to go back-to-back plus money player props here. Our second prop in today's video comes from the Athletics Blue Jays game, 3:07 p.m. first pitch. We're going with a guy who came through for us yesterday in the parlay, hoping he can deliver for us again today. We got Lawrence Butler of the A's, over 1.5 total bases. Again, plus money play, we're grabbing it for plus 135 over on DraftKings. It's available on a lot of different sports books for varying odds. And very similar to the last player prop, the recent data is actually pretty strong. The overall data not so strong, but not terrible either. Lawrence Butler has cashed this over in 8 of his last 10 games, averaging 2.9 total bases per game over his last 10, including last night. Again, he had 3 total bases, and on parlay, all we needed him to do was get a hit. He did deliver for us on that front. If we do go ahead and stretch the data out to the entire season view, like I was talking to you guys about, it's not great. 47% hit rate, 25 out of 53 games. He's cashed the over, averaging 1.83 total bases per game this year. Like I said, not fantastic, but it's not the worst we've seen. And again, the recent data seems to be pretty strong here for Lawrence Butler. And look at the head-to-head data. 3 of his last 5 matchups with the Blue Jays, he's cashed the over. That's, of course, a 60% hit rate, averaging 2.2 bases per game over his last 5 games. And they played 2 times so far in this series this year. May 29th, he did not cash the over. A massive blowout loss for the A's in that one. And then last night, again, he had 3 total bases and was an 11-7 loss for the A's. But pretty good numbers here for Lawrence Butler across the board. If we look at the insights provided by Outlier, now it's not as relevant. He has exceeded half a base in 11 of his last 12 games, 92% hit rate. Those lines are minus. You can't get it in only Prize Picks Hard Rock Bet. But you guys are looking for an alternate line, that's not a bad one. But again, we are going with over 1.5 base. So for this prop, the insight provided by Outlier is not totally relevant. Now looking down below the key matchup stats, Lawrence Butler, pretty good numbers overall this year. Not great, not terrible. Versus right-handed pitchers, though, nice solid increases. Right batting average, BABIP, ISO, all nice increases in those numbers. So he's definitely having more success versus right-handed pitchers than he is versus left-handed pitchers. Now, the tricky thing here is Braden Fisher, the pitcher for the Blue Jays. Not a lot to go off of. He's only faced 27 batters this year, and only 11 of them have been left-handed. Now, the numbers look phenomenal for him. He's had a great start to the year, 115 batting average allowed, 0 ERA. But again, take it with a grain of salt. He really hasn't faced that much. So it's really, and that's the scary part, I think, of this player prop is you just don't know what to expect. He's 1-0. He's only pitched 8.1 innings this season. So in the limited innings that he has pitched, he's looked phenomenal, but there's just not a lot to go off of. And again, that's risky when it comes to betting a player prop against this guy. But I think this is more about how well Lawrence Butler has been playing and less about the matchup with Braden Fisher. I think the plus money value is what really leads me. If this was like minus 120, I might go ahead and pass up on it. I still like it, but I probably might, I'd be less enthusiastic about taking it. But if you're giving me Lawrence Butler with the way he's been playing lately at plus 135, I'm going to go ahead and take a chance here. Again, might not put a full unit or even 3/4 of a unit. Might be a little half unit play, but I think it's definitely worth taking a look at and maybe throwing in your bet card for this Saturday slate. All right, guys, before we continue on with our third player prop in today's slate, please go ahead and comment cash down below in the comment section if you are watching today's video at this point. Again, as always, we appreciate those who watch through each and every single video here on the channel. It really does mean the world to us. We put a lot of hard work, myself, Evan, Trey, into each and every video here on the channel. So please go ahead and comment cash down below if you're still watching at this point in today's video. And for our third player prop in today's slate, we're going Red Sox Braves 4:10 p.m. first pitch. We're going Jarren Duran of the Boston Red Sox over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. We're grabbing that for minus 135 over on DraftKings, but again, available on multiple sports books for varying odds. Data pretty strong across the board. You see 6 of his last 10 he's cashed the over, averaging 2.4 HRRs. That's the abbreviation for hits, runs, RBIs. 2.4 HRRs per game over the last 10. Go ahead and stretch the data out to the last 20. Still pretty solid. 14 in the last 20. It's a 70% hit rate, averaging 2.6 HRRs per game over the last 20 games. And even if you want to go ahead and stretch the data out even further to the entire season view, 59% hit rate, 34 out of 58 games. He's cashed the over, averaging 2.31 HRRs per game this season. So really good numbers across the board here for Jarren Duran. And even from a head-to-head standpoint, pretty good. 5 of his last 8 matchups with the Braves, he's cashed the over. That's a 63% hit rate dating back to last season, averaging 2.38 hits, runs, RBIs per game. I don't like HRRs as an abbreviation. I'm going to be honest. I'd rather just say hits, runs, RBIs. 2.38 hits, runs, RBIs per game across the last 8 matchups with Atlanta. Now, they've already played a healthy amount this year. This will be the 5th matchup this year between the Red Sox and the Braves. He's cashed the over in 3 out of 4. He actually cashed it in 3 straight, going into last night's game where he did nothing. Now, the Red Sox did win, which is actually a pretty shocking thing considering how they've been playing lately. But 0 hits, 0 runs, and 0 RBIs last night versus Atlanta. Looking at the matchup down below, Duran versus Spencer Schwellenbach. I think I nailed that one, guys. Listen, when I nail a name pronunciation, I have to celebrate it because I suck at it. And which is crazy because I'm literally Greek and I literally speak a different language, and you'd think I'd be able to name pronounce some of these names, but I suck at it for some reason. Give me a Greek name, I'll pronounce it with the accent and all, but give me anything else and I struggle with it. I don't really understand it. But Schwellenbach, easy enough, I think, to pronounce. But Duran, 6 plate appearances since 2018 against Schwellenbach. 400 batting average, 500 OBP. Not a huge sample size to go off of, but he has gotten a couple hits off of him in the past. Now, I do like the matchup here. Duran batting .282 this year with a 110.9 WRC plus versus right-handed pitchers. It does get a little bit better. 297 batting average, 132 WRC plus. So pretty good numbers there. And looking at Schwellenbach, who's having a solid year versus left-handed batters like Jarren Duran, those numbers do increase. ERA, batting average allowed, home runs per 9, and WOBA. They all increase pretty significantly, honestly, when facing off with left-handed batters like Jarren Duran. So mixing the data that we showed earlier in this player prop and then also these matchup stats, I think it's a pretty good spot here for Jarren Duran. And for minus 135 odds, pretty strong value. All right, guys, our 4th player prop in today's video, we have Yankees-Dodgers, 7:15 p.m. first pitch. What a game last night between these two teams. Really fun series here, and last night was a lot of fun, a lot of fireworks in that game last night. Hopefully a little bit of a repeat in today's showdown. We're going Freddie Freeman over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs against the Yankees. Now we're grabbing it for minus 160 on BetMGM. A little higher than I normally like for my single bets. My cap is usually minus 150. I'm going to go ahead and break through that a little bit here and take it at minus 160, although I'm not super pumped about the odds there. Once you go over minus 150, I consider it to be an alternate line because now the value it's not worth it a lot of the time. I think this one's worth it due to the matchup as well as the overlying data. 6 of his last 10 games, including 4 of his last 5. He's cashed the over. He's averaging 2.2 hits, runs, RBIs per game over his last 10. I mean, look at the overall season view. 61% hit rate on the year for Freddie Freeman. 28 out of 46 games, he's cashed the over, averaging 2.85 hits, runs, RBIs per game this season. So honestly, pretty good numbers across the board here for Freddie Freeman. The head-to-head data as well, this obviously includes the World Series last year, but 7 of his last 9 matchups with the Yankees, he's cashed the over. It's a 78% hit rate, averaging 3.89 hits, runs, RBIs per game across the last 9 matchups with the Yankees, including last night where he had 3 hits, 1 run, and 1 RBI. And looking at the insights here, it's phenomenal. I mean, Freddie Freeman has exceeded 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs in 15 of his last 19 games at home in Los Angeles, averaging 2.9 hits, runs, RBIs per game over his last 19 home games. That is a 79% hit rate. So really phenomenal data here for Freddie Freeman. And looking down below the key matchup stats, Freddie Freeman having a solid year, a phenomenal year, not solid, a phenomenal year. Versus right-handed pitchers, it gets even better. He's batting .393 this year off of right-handed pitchers with a 142 plate appearance sample size. Really phenomenal, 215.1 WRC plus. You really can't get much better than that. Now, looking at Warren here, Will Warren actually not having a terrible year, but versus left-handed batters, you do see all of his numbers increase a little bit. ERA, batting average allowed, home runs per 9, WOBA, they all increase. 235 batting average allowed, it's really not that bad. And like point home runs per 9, 313 WOBA. Those aren't terrible numbers, but when you match up with a player like Freddie Freeman, you got to be better than that. I think it's a pretty good matchup here for Freddie to go ahead and cash this over. Minus 160, again, a little higher than I would like it to be, but I think still worth a shot here. And last but not least, guys, our 5th and final player prop in today's video, we have Pirates Padres, 9:40 p.m. first pitch. We got Bailey Falter of the Pirates under 5.5 hits allowed. We're grabbing this one for minus 130 on DraftKings or BetMGM. That's what I can grab it for. Again, it is available on multiple sports books for varying odds. And pretty good numbers here for Bailey Falter. 8 of his last 10 games, he's cashed this under, averaging 4 hits allowed per game over the last 10 games. So far this year, he's played 1 more game than we showed. 11 games played so far this season. A 73% hit rate on the under, averaging 4.27 hits allowed per game this year. So pretty good numbers across the board here for Bailey Falter. And look at the last 5 games. 5 consecutive matchups, he's cashed this under 5.5 hits, averaging 3 hits allowed per game over the last 5 games. No pushover teams either. I mean, Padres, Braves, Mets, Reds, Brewers, pretty decent schedule too, and he's pitched pretty well. Now, I mentioned the Braves, I mentioned the Padres. Of course, he's playing the Padres again today. Last 2 matches versus San Diego, 1 last year, 1 this year. He's cashed the under, both time giving up just 2 hits against these teams. So pretty good track record here against San Diego. And then again, the insight, same thing we just mentioned, Bailey Falter has failed to exceed 5.5 hits allowed in 5 straight games, averaging just 3 hits allowed per game over the last 5 games. Looking down below at the key matchup stats as well, San Diego batting versus left-handed pitchers. Overall this year, they're middle of the road, 16th in MLB with a 238 batting average this year against left-handed pitchers. However, if we do narrow the data down to the last 30 games, they've fallen off a little bit. 225 batting average, that is bottom 10 in Major League Baseball in terms of batting average versus left-handed pitchers. Their BABIP, their hard hitting percentage, all those numbers are in the bottom 10 in the MLB. Now, the strikeout percentage is top 10, but also still worse than they are from an overall standpoint. And again, Bailey Falter, 69th percentile, pause for applause, of course. 223 batting average allowed this year, 241 BABIP. So his numbers are pretty solid. Seems to be a pretty good matchup across the board. Again, the last 2 times he's played San Diego, only 2 hits allowed in each of those 2 games. Seems to be a pretty good matchup here. And for minus 130, again, strong value. All right, guys, that is it for me today. Thank you very much, as always, for watching. One more time, guys, please make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. No video on Sundays. I don't do videos on Sundays, so I will be back on Monday with a new MLB Player Prop video. Until then, guys, I hope you're all winners. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the end of the month of May and the beginning of the month of June. On Monday, we'll start our June ladder challenge for the month of June, so that'll be a lot of fun. But yeah, hopefully you had a great month, and hope that the month of June brings a lot more luck and winning and happiness and health to all you guys. So until Monday, I hope you're all winners. Let's go ahead, make some money.